Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all keeping safe at the moment. One of the questions that I get asked the most about my videos is, what filters do I use in my cinematic shots? So in today's video I'm going to show you which ones I use, how I use them, but more importantly which ones not to buy and save yourself some money. So let's jump into the video and get started. Okay, so the first filter we're going to discuss not buying is the UV filter. This filter is nothing more than a big waste of money. It literally is a screen protector for your camera. It doesn't improve any of the footage or changes anything on your drone. In fact, if anything, it deteriorates the footage just from the sake of putting a bit of glass in front of your camera. If you're going to buy yourself a UV filter, you might as well take your hard-earned cash and throw it away. Shit, I need that. So, whatever you do, save yourself some money. Don't buy a UV filter. They literally do nothing. They're nothing more than a screen protector for your camera on your drone. And if you need a screen protector for your drone, then you're flying it wrong in the first place. So, stay away from UV filters. They're pointless, absolute rubbish. No point in buying them. Okay, the second filter that you should avoid is polarizing filters for your drone. Now there'll be a lot of people out there saying that polarizing filters do a job. They remove the glare off water or off reflective surfaces, and they've got a point. But the reason you don't want a polarizing filter on your drone is for this reason. I'm going to show you with the help of a mirrorless camera and show you why you don't want specifically polarizing filters on their own. Let's jump in and I'll show you. Okay, so we have our polarizing filter attached to the front of our lens. Let's get an artistic shot of it. Ooh, how lovely. Now I found this rather uninspiring looking stream, but we'll use this as an example. You can see it has a lovely reflective surface for me to show you what a polarizing filter does. Now we need to rotate the polarizing filter every time we set up, depending on the height, angle and distance away our camera is from their subject. It's not a stick it on and it works filter. If I was to move the camera at all, I would need to alter the filter. So here's the footage straight out of the camera as I am rotating the filter. Slowly you can see the glare from the surface is removed by the filter. So you're probably saying, well, why ain't this a good thing for a drone? Let me show you. We have our drone behind us with a filter on. How do you rotate the filter? That's right, you can't. You can't set it up either before takeoff because the camera angle will change once in the air, and every time you move the camera or drone the filter will need adjusting, making polarizing filters pretty much useless for drones. Okay, so that's two filters that you don't need, the UV filters and dedicated polarizing filters. But let's get on to what I use and how I use them. These are what I use. These are by a company called Skyreet. I'll link them now in the top corner. These are basically a set of ND filters that come with, I believe, ND2, ND4, ND8, ND16 and ND32 and ND64. What that does, it gives me pretty much, it covers every scenario to bring down the shutter speed to 60. But let's jump into some flying and show you how to use them. Let's go. Okay, so let's get this little bird in the sky. In this first scenario we have the drone's camera set to auto with no ND filters. The footage is still pretty good and most people would be happy with it. But let us land this drone and put an ND filter on that will allow us to lower the shutter speed to that of double our frame rate. In this case I need a filter to get me to a shutter speed of 60, doubling my recording frame rate of 30. This will give me the most natural looking motion blur when flying. With experience you'll be able to choose a filter straight away, but to begin with you may need to land a drone again to change the filter until you get it right. On this Mavic Mini they can be very fiddly to put on. Okay, now we have it on, let's take off again and set our shutter speed to 60. You can see by our meter reading we're still a tad dark, but it's close enough in this example. Now you should notice a slight improvement in smoothness, because with the shutter speed double that of our frame rate we get a natural looking motion blur off the trees. We'll look more into this in a moment. But the other thing you may notice is that our footage is now consistent. With the camera in auto mode, the camera is constantly adjusting to the lighting conditions around us, making the footage go from dark to light or light to dark as it tries to alter the image to what it thinks is right. But in manual mode with the ND filter on, the camera cannot adjust itself. The environment is naturally turning lighter and darker, but the camera is not changing its settings. Here is an exaggerated example of auto mode at its worst. So let's get back to look at why we aim for a shutter speed of double our frame rate. Here we have a photo taken by the drone's camera set to auto. The shutter speed in this sample is probably around 1/1000th of a second. At this speed this freezes the motion and makes the van look like it's at a standstill or parked up. This is good for some situations, like if you're trying to catch a fast moving object and you want them to look this way. But let's lower the shutter speed with an ND filter to 60 and go manual. Here you can see that now we get a more natural looking motion blur on the van whilst everything around it is still sharp. You can instantly tell from this still image that the van is in motion. Okay, well I hope that makes sense to you. I've tried to keep it as simple as possible. Basically you want a good variety of ND filters, so it gives you the most options in different lighting conditions to bring your shutter speed down to that of double your frame rate. This will give you really nice consistent video footage. The ones to stay away from are the UV filters and dedicated polarising filters. Just absolutely pointless on drones. In fact, UV filters are pointless in general, they're just a paperweight. But any questions, please comment below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and why not subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more of my content. Thank you so much for watching, it's been a pleasure. Stay safe and we'll see you soon.